Did Christmas come early for the Houston Texans?
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what you say. Hard work, work, work. Earn my pay. Hard work, work. Hard work, do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of 2:45. Hard work, work. To go and earn my pay. Hard work, work. Boots on and lace.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tune into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you are subscribed to my YouTube page at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because, you know, we do everything for the gram. And make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Texans podcast and to the Locked On Texans YouTube page. All right, y'all know how we do it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, hold on. Marcus said good morning, everybody. What's up, Marcus? Good morning. They call me Mr. Nobody. Good morning. What's going on, sir? What up? Hello, Alexis. You've got to go back and listen to it if you haven't listened to it. Hey, that show yesterday with AD, oh my God. But that's the type of shows that I like. I like being able to mix in the... So some of you all don't know, but I pray, right? I pray, you know, before my shows, and I pray that I'm always informative, knowledgeable, and entertaining. And on yesterday, hey, I owe somebody a quarter for saying that. On Monday's show, that was exactly what it was. Oh my goodness, had fun. Even though AD thinks he's the co-host. No, he ain't ready for that yet because he got to get off that Bluetooth first. But it was a show. What's going on, Joseph? Tay, what it do? Hello, ma'am. Dre. Let me see. Who else we got in here? Hello. Oh, hey, what part of Virginia? I was stationed in Virginia at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, in Alexandria. I had some really good times there. I had some really good times in Virginia. I like Virginia. Fred, what's going on? Madison, what's going on? D Skills, have you talked to that wife swapper at the gym again? I seen him, but we ain't talked about it. I should ask him what is his holiday plans. Like, where y'all going this week? I always say hello to the ladies first. Okay. All right. So I was in Alexandria. Yeah, right there at Fort Belvoir. Hold on, morning from DC. Shout out to the... Hey, were you in DC? Southeast DC, Madison? Hey, hold on. Hey, if you're in Southeast DC, Madison, hold on for a second. Because I'm praying for you. Because I know how it gets in Southeast DC. Hold on for a second. Okay. Hey, Madison, a lot of these people, look, they want to go to DC and they be like, oh, look at it, it's the White House, it's the Capitol, it's all of that. Yeah, but it gets rowdy on that Southeast side. I was told, hey, don't even stop here. Just keep going. My car is safe. Hold on. I lived in Virginia. Good morning, first of all, Texas Tangents. Virginia Beach twice, went to 2 high schools with my dad. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you was down there. Hey, you was down there by where Allen Iverson and Michael Vick and all them from. What do they call it? Oh, my God. Because they think they're going down there and they're going to be at the beach, and then you find out you in a episode of First 48. Yes, Lord. Yes, you will. He said, Mr. Blue Chew, that's 3 from the Maryland, D.C., Virginia. All right. Annapolis. Hey, I think we've talked about this before, Joseph. So I had to have surgery on both my ankles, which was really weird because when I had the surgery, he said the reason why I had to have it because my body was mirroring itself, and so I had to have the surgery on both of my ankles in the same spot. And so the head of sports medicine actually did my surgery, saved my life too. All right, all right, all right. First 48, boy, that'll get you. Woo! All right. Once again, welcome to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge Show. I'm your host, Big Sarge, the only show that lets you talk and talks back. See, there's some of these shows that like to say, yeah, we're the only show, blah, 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 blah. But do you talk back though? Like, do you have conversations with your supporters? I don't know what y'all call them. I call them supporters, right? I call them supporters. This is my, hey, look, this is my brigade. This is the Big Sarge Brigade. We all in this thing together. So sure, you have supporters. I don't know. I call them supporters. I got supporters, and they talk to me, and guess what I do? I talk back, which is very rare. Which is very rare in this media space in which we live in. And if I ever decide to get back on a radio platform, that's one of the things I'm going to say. Hey, look, if I can't talk back and forth, if I can't get a back and forth with with the supporters of my show, then I don't even know if I want it or not. Now I know that I'm going to take some calls, but I also want to be able to have things up and running. All right, Joseph, I didn't know that. Texans roll deep outside of Houston. Yes. Oh, for sure, Tay. Man, this guy can't catch a break. And what Tay is talking about is if you got a chance to watch Monday Night Football between the Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals, man, Demarion Overshown is a player, linebacker at the University of Texas, who missed his entire rookie year due to an injury. And then on Monday night, he got injured again. He's out for the season. He's going to, they said that that's a major knee injury. And this is just a guy who plays hard. When they get it together, if they can re-sign Micah Parsons, if they can give him the money that he deserves, with those two together, along with those cornerbacks that they have, even though they didn't play very well on Monday night, I mean, you just allow Jamar Chase to do whatever he wants to do. But if they can get him to, get them all under that same umbrella, they're a young group. They can make some noise. They can definitely make some noise. So yeah, my prayers going up. Come on, Marcus. Oh, look at Marcus say so tripping with that light blue jacket on right now. Come on. Yeah. Yes, that is the perfect example. Does remind me of Sean Lee as well. Hey man, hand over heart for you, Marcus. That's I okay. All right. All right. Hey, y'all see that, right? I was serving and feeding the homeless every Monday night, so I missed the game. All right, Marcus. I love that we're getting C. Harris back, but Kenyon Green can chill and be fly on the sideline with flip flops and the white. Hey, look. Let me keep that up for 1 second. First of all, Keezy, thank you for joining the show, bro. I appreciate that. Hey, man, listen, we're not going to let 2025 pass us by without doing that Prairie View documentary. I'm saying it right now. It's on tape. It's going to live in infamy as long as I have a YouTube channel and able to capture video. It's going to live in infamy that we're saying this right now. We cannot let another year go by without doing. I don't want to say. Let me not say documentary because I don't know how to put a documentary together just yet. But we're definitely going to have to put together what we talked about as far as with the Prairie View track team. We got to get it together. I need to get everybody on board. So let's start in first quarter of 2025, January. Let's start talking about that, man. Let's go ahead and put that together. Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, Okay, we're gonna start this show in just a second. I'm definitely gonna start this show just in just a second, but I have a question. We come on here and I talk about, to start the show. I ain't gonna even lie, but I will ask the most ratchetest of ratchetness questions. I know I do. I know I do. I got a Buzz and Petty podcast coming. I need to get you already. I know I ask some petty questions, but right now I got a question that I really want to ask you all because uh I was having this conversation and I was having this conversation with someone. And I want to bring it to Sports Talk with Big Sarge before we start talking about did Christmas come early for the Texans by getting Christian Harris and Kenyon Green, who both are designated for return this week. I have a question. I have a question. Would you rather have good credit or be a millionaire? Would you rather have good credit, like excellent credit, like A1 top tier credit, or would you rather be a millionaire? Because there's a lot of it's 50-50 for a lot of people when they talk about that. It's 50-50 when you talk about that because and look, I got two people. Madison says millionaire, Yvonne says good credit. HD says millionaire. Marcus says millionaire for 200. Joseph said both. Because some people believe that if you can live off of good credit and having and maintaining good credit, you can definitely live. But some people also believe that if you're a millionaire, that you can also your credit doesn't matter. Some people still believe in paying for things in cash. And it's crazy because we're moving into we've moved into a society and we're still headed that way to where a lot of places don't even accept cash anymore. A lot of places won't even accept cash. It's like, hey, you got to pay by card. I think if I'm not mistaken, most of these stadiums are starting to be most of these stadiums are cashless, right? I know NRG you can't bring cash, right? NRG you can't bring cash. I think at the Toyota Center, I don't think you can have cash either. There's a lot of places that don't accept cash anymore. And so cash is also is almost becoming obsolete. And nobody's gonna keep, millions of dollars just laying around the house. Nobody's gonna go to the bank and say, give me all my money. Matter of fact, I don't think the bank, if you're a millionaire, let's just say you're a millionaire, you got $5 million, right? If you got $5 million, you can't just go to the bank and withdraw $5 million. And you can't just keep going to the ATM and getting out 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 at a time, 10,000 at a time. You're gonna have to put it somewhere. And if we're looking at it, if we're being honest, I mean, the banking system is, what the banking system is? The banking system is like any other, the banking system is like your Twitter account. The banking system is like your Instagram, like your TikTok, your Facebook, your MySpace. It's nothing but an algorithm. That's all it is. Ones and zeros. That's it. Your bank is nothing. When you think that you're getting money deposited into your bank, sure, they are depositing a certain amount into your bank account, but it's nothing but ones and zeros. And if you don't believe me, if you have a large sum of money in your bank account, you're banking in your savings, go and try to withdraw it and watch how they react to you trying to withdraw. So you can't just do that. But on the flip side of that, having good credit, is that going to get you through? Because eventually, like, you got to maintain that good credit. You have to maintain that good credit. And sometimes, you know, some people go, some people die, pass away with excellent credit, but no money, nothing to leave, nothing to leave their loved ones. Some people don't want to leave nothing to their loved ones. Not me. I got grandbabies. I got a wife. I got a niece. I got a nephew. I want to leave them something. And so Like I said, what is it? Well, y'all tell me. Drop it in the comments. Would you rather be a millionaire, or would you rather have good credit? You can only have one. Kenyon Green coming back as a Christmas gift. Yes, HD. We're going to get into that. Let's see. Keezy said, "Millionaire money will get you great credit if you know how to play it." That's true. What's up, Deverett? Kenyon Green's Christmas gifts. Then I'd rather have New Year's. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Can't stay a millionaire without good credit. Can't eat. You don't think so, Duke? You don't think so? Because if you're a millionaire and you just pay for everything, you don't have to have credit cards or anything like that, right? Like if you just say, "Hey, look, I don't want an American Express Visa. I don't want none of that. I have my money in the bank, and how I'm going to spend it is this is how I'm going to spend it. I don't want no credit cards." And so, like, I mean, you'll have, I guess, by default, you'll have good credit. Uh, Give me a senior Boble. What's going on? Ah, exactly. You can't bring cash where they do that at. Give me that credit. I can get into the upper echelon and build lasting generational wealth. So I guess the question is like, so when you look at these billionaires, right? When you look at these people who have lots and lots, like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather is a multimillionaire. And do you think that he has a bunch of credit cards and build up his credit? Or do you just think, hey, look, if I see it, want it, buy it, own it? Like some of these people would rather just go and pay cash for what they want. Some people can go to the car lot and see a $90,000 car and say, "Hey, I want to get that. Let me have it now." And they don't have to be, and it doesn't have to be illegal money. So that's all. I'm just asking. Millionaire means you have net worth. Credit rating means you need someone else's permission to go into debt. It's a great question. Millionaire buy a property, then you pull credit off of that. Hmm. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. DJ Rocky says, DJ Rocky B, what's going on? We ain't promised tomorrow, so I want my money and wins now. Go Texans. You can buy good credit. Don't get caught in the credit bureau scams. Yeah, because I mean, because when you think about it, I mean, all right, so just let's look at it like this. Because think about all the times you've paid off, like you've paid off a couple of credit cards, and then your credit score goes down. Like the trick is to carry debt, right? Like you carry debt, and as long as you carry debt, then you're now I didn't say a lot of debt, but as long as you carry debt, then you can your credit rating goes up. But I've paid off some stuff, and then my credit score has dropped, and I was like, why? I thought that's what I was supposed to do. So we're gonna have this conversation one day, HD. Mayweather got all his money dancing around. Mayweather is actually one of the best boxers. See, there's a difference between boxing and brawling. Like Mike Tyson was a brawler, not a good boxer. He was a brawler. Mayweather was a good boxer. I like that. I like boxers. I like watching brawls too, but I can go to YouTube and see that. Cash is king, especially next fall when the economy crashes. Uh Carry debt only has to be about 15% of balance. I don't What if you don't want to carry no debt though? They said you had too much free money. So all right, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. Once again, tune to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Thank you for everybody who's joining me on YouTube, Facebook, and the app formerly known as Twitter. So on Monday, the Houston Texans designated linebacker Christian Harris and Kenyon Green to come back off of the injured reserve. And let's start with Christian Harris, right? Let's start with Christian Harris. Now, if you haven't heard the Tuesday edition of Locked On Texans podcast, go over there because it's something, I have a similar title to that. And I was able to talk about them two coming back, but I want to go into a little bit more depth right here on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. So let's start with Christian Harris. Do I want to see Christian Harris come back? Yes, I do. I like Christian Harris. Christian Harris, by far, is one of the hardest working people on that team. Christian Harris works hard. And I've told this story here before, but I'll tell it again for my new supporters. Last year, I was talking to Christian Harris, and it was after a game. And I said, "Hey, Christian, can I talk to you?" And he said, "I got you, Sarge, next week, but I can't talk right now. I can get you next week. I can talk to you next week, but I can't talk to you today because I got to get out there and talk to my dad before he leaves because he has to go back to work." And I said, "Say that again?" He said, "Yeah, just because I'm in the NFL, my daddy didn't stop working." He said, "My daddy has been working. He ain't gonna stop working." He said, "He don't care how much money I make. That's my money. My daddy works, and he goes and works still. They're from Louisiana. He still work. He drives from Louisiana for his 12-hour shift." He said, "Sarge, that's where I got my hard work." Excuse me. He said, "Sarge, that's where I learned to work hard at from my dad, watching my dad." He said he's one of the he not gonna stop. He said he's not gonna stop till his time here on earth is gone. He said, "So I got you next week, but I got to get out here and talk to my daddy before he go to work." And Christian Harris has that same mindset. I've seen him on numerous occasions throughout the season, coming from rehab and coming from the Methodist Training Center over there working out. And you see him, he's drenched in sweat. You can tell that he works hard. Nobody is more upset about missing time. Nobody is more upset about missing time and not being able to be out on the field and produce with his teammates than Christian Harris. We know what type of player Christian Harris is. We've seen him play. We've seen him take that turn under Texas head coach DeMeco Ryans, former linebacker in the NFL. We've seen him take that turn under DeMeco last season, and with so much promise ending the season, and everybody was looking at him and Azeez Al-Shaair playing next to each other coming into the season, with Henry To'oTo'o being the backup and Jake Hansen being the backup and Neville Hewitt being the backup, and even drafting converted safety that turned into linebacker Jamal Hill out of Oregon. So Christian Harris had a lot of potential coming into the season, and nobody really wanted to see him get hurt. Nobody wanted to see Christian Harris get hurt. And so with him designated to return, when they activate him this week, I don't know if I want to see a lot of Christian Harris in the first 2 games. Like, I think that he should just be on the field with a limited snap count just so he can get back to game speed. We know that he's in great shape. You could tell he's in great shape when we see him out. We know that he's physically, he's in great shape. But it's been a while since he has had to hit. It's been a while. We need to put Marcus on the watch list. That man live on the plate financially. I got to go back and I got to go look at what Marcus said. But we know that he can play. It's just a matter of being away from the game for so long. Like, Christian Harris hasn't been on the football field in almost a year. Let me see, where's my notes? The last game that Christian Harris played was January 20, 2024. So at least 11 months. The last time we seen Christian Harris play was against the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round of the playoffs earlier this year. And so being away from the game for so long, you got to get your feet back under you. You got to get back into game shape. You got to get back into game speed. You have to get used to tackling again. Like it's not going to just come back naturally in one game or two games. And so bringing him back, I see what they're trying to do. Maybe he'll be ready by the time the playoffs roll around if he doesn't have any setbacks, and getting him on the field, just having him on the field, having another guy with that type of speed, playing with that type of aggressiveness, and having that linebacker rotation in which what they're going to have, you're looking at a good linebacker core that could back up that front four on the defensive line. And if you're able to play Christian Harris and Azeez Al-Shaair at the same time, not only are you getting two good run stoppers, you're also getting two linebackers who could play in coverage. My only thing is you got to put him on a snap count coming back. And I know, hey, listen, they have some of the best training staff over there. They got some of the best medical staff over at NRG. The Texans organization has a great training staff, so they're not just going to throw him back out there. I said this on the Locked On Texans podcast, and I'll reiterate it again. When Nico was ready to come back, they said, "Hey, we're not just going to throw him in there. We're going to give him one more game, one more week to be able to practice and get back acclimated to being out there, and then we'll throw him back on the field." And you could see in that first game against the Dallas Cowboys, it was one of those ones. It was one of those games where you're surprised because the first play from scrimmage for the Texans, he went 75 yards. Now the play got called back because of a penalty, but you see that extra time may have helped him. So that's the only thing that I want to see when it comes to Christian Harris. Give him a little more time. Give him a little more time to be able to get acclimated to being back, because football is a physical sport. And if you've been away from that type of contact for so long, when you've been away from that type of contact for so long, you come back, you got to get reacclimated to hitting. You got to get reacclimated to doing everything that there is to do on a football field. So I like that they're bringing Christian Harris back. And if they can advance to the divisional round of the playoffs, they're definitely going to need him. Now, they don't have Azeez Al-Shaair for the next 3 games against the Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Baltimore Ravens, but I still wouldn't rush Christian Harris back into those games. I would let Henry To'oTo'o, Neville Hewitt, Devin White, Jake Hansen, I would let them play within that scheme and that system until you're able to get Christian back at full speed, until you're able to get Azeez Al-Shaair back at the end of the season. And I've said this on numerous occasions, and once again I'll say it again. I really like the idea of putting Jamal Hill in the game on passing downs. I like that. I like the idea of putting Jamal Hill in the game on passing downs because he is a converted safety playing linebacker. He does know route concepts. He does know route trees. He's seen it from a safety position, and now you're bringing him closer to the line. I just want to be able to see that. So, you know, everybody's excited. Everybody's excited for having Christian Harris back. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments. Hey, look, hold on. That's from our earlier conversation. That's good though. I'm gonna hop up back in there in just a second. So hold on. Let me see. Trying to get let me get to these. Me neither, Sarge. I don't want Harris to get hurt again. The Aziz suspension may have pushed up his return. Yeah, that could have been. I like the idea of limited snaps for Christian Harris. Hold on. Just the thought of all our linebackers back at the end of the season. Yes, I like that too. So now everybody's excited, right? Everybody's excited for Christian Harris to come back. People have been asking for Christian Harris. When is he coming back? When is he coming back? When is he coming back? And so now he's designated for a return, right? He's designated for a return. And it's crazy because for excited as you all are to see Christian Harris come back, you're not excited to see Kenyon Green come back. And that's funny. That's funny. I want to have this conversation. Let's do it. Let's do it. You tune into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. We're gonna do this right now. Let's do this. All right. Drop it in the comments. I've seen him. I'm gonna go back and read and put on the screen some of the comments that you all have made about Kenyon Green. All right. So Kenyon Green. Some of you all don't like the way that he has played this season, right? But before we get into that conversation, can we just put some can we just put some context into this? Like, let's put some context. Like, I know we laugh, we joke, we play around, but I have the utmost respect for every supporter who watches the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I have the utmost respect for you, your intelligence, your football knowledge. So let's just push everything to the side and let's just have a conversation. Kenyon Green missed an entire year due to injury. He comes back. Now, mind you, the last time Kenyon Green played, there was a whole different coaching regime for the Houston Texans. The year that he missed, you get a brand new offensive line coach, you get a brand new head coach, you get a brand new offensive coordinator. So he misses that entire year. He doesn't play in that scheme at all. And then he comes back into that scheme, right? He comes back and now he has to learn that scheme. He has to play in that scheme, also coming back off of injury, right? Right. So coming back off of injury, playing in that scheme, also playing next to Juice Scruggs, who doesn't have a lot of time at the center position. A lot of time at that center position. And so now you have two interior offensive linemen who are basically learning the scheme, but not only learning the scheme, learning each other. They play right next to each other. And so they also got to learn their habits and their tendencies. So when you're looking at it and you're coming into the season, you're saying to yourself, okay, we've got to get some type of continuity. And they worked out in the offseason together. Juice stayed in Houston to work out with him and Kenyon. And it's one thing to do that, but then when you get on the field, you also have to be able to make it work. And we seen at times it did not work. Now, with that being said, side note, before we start criticizing Kenyon Green, and hey, rightfully so, you can criticize Kenyon Green, but you also got to realize that he also realized that he wasn't playing his best either. He admitted, he said it on record. He didn't hide behind nobody. He didn't run from the media. He came to the media and said, I'm not playing well. I got replaced for performance. I got taken off the field when Jared Patterson came in, and then you remember that one play they scored a touchdown. Jared Patterson suffered a concussion, and then he was out, and Kenyon Green had to come back on the field. He said, I've suffered. I mean, I got pulled for performance. It wasn't because of injury or none of that. And then he gets hurt on a freak accident against the Jets. And then he had to go on IR because of his shoulder. So Kenyon Green, when we look at it, right? When we look at Kenyon Green, he's one of those ones. I talk to Kenyon Green on a consistent basis. He's one of the people in that Houston Texans locker room that I will go and sit next to. Him and I just have conversations after conversations after conversation. And I'm not saying nothing right now. What I'm saying right now is the exact same thing Kenyon would tell you. He told me, hey, Sarge, I ain't been playing my best, man. I got to get back to playing my best. I've got to get back to that dog mentality that I had. And he admitted that he said, Sarge, I lost too much weight. He said, I lost too much weight, which I lost a lot of my power. He said, I lost entirely too much weight, so I lost my base. All right. And I don't listen when it comes to him. I'll tell you. Listen, I'm not saying nothing that Kenyon Green wouldn't tell you himself. I sit there and I that, hey man, so like a couple of them plays, bro, you just look like you just got whipped. And he said, Sarge, I did. He said, I did. He said, I'm not gonna lie, I did. And so I prefaced all that to say this. I know you don't want Kenyon Green back. I know you don't want Kenyon Green on the field. I know you don't want Kenyon Green in the lineup. But what do you think happens in the playoffs? Teams condense their playbook because it's one and done. They want to control the time of possession. So, what do you think that the Texans are going to do when they get in the playoffs? They're going to run the ball. They're not running the ball effectively with Laramie Tunsil and Juice Scruggs. They're just not, and that's no shot at. And there's no shot at Juice. He's playing out of position, really. You all heard Nick Casario say last week that Juice is a better center than he is a left guard. And for whatever you want to say, whatever you want to talk about Kenyon Green, his pass protection has not been the best this season. His pass protection has not been the best. But you can't say that he still doesn't get out on run blocks and is able to open up lanes for Joe Mixon. That's all I'm saying. Is that, hey, look, you may want him out of the rotation. You may want him out of the starting lineup. You may want him out of the starting lineup. But when it comes to the playoffs, you're going to have him in there somewhere unless Juice takes a major step up and improves his run blocking. Because if he doesn't improve his run blocking, then you're looking at what was that game a couple of weeks ago where Joe Mixon only had 56 yards rushing. And a lot of times, don't get me wrong, a lot of times Joe Mixon is making a lot of things happen. He's making a lot of things happen. And if we keeping it a buck, if we keeping it 100 right here on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, you can't have two players on the left side who are not super great at run blocking. Now, if you tuned in on Monday, you know that AD and I we talked about that, and I said that Laramie Tunsil, he is not a terrible run blocker. He's not the best run blocker. He's very good at pass protection, but he's not the best run blocker. Juice Scruggs is not the best run blocker. If you want to run behind somebody, some of y'all gonna laugh at me when I say this, but that's cool. Just go back and watch some of the games. If you're gonna run behind somebody, you run behind Kenyon Green. Because one thing he can do is hit and get up the field. He can roll grade. Now, he lost some of his power, of course. But you're going to want him in there unless you can get Juice to get on that same roll grading mindset that Kenyon Green had. So, guess Kenyon Green needs to be a frequent Whataburger custom. Probably. He may. And that's funny. I had a Whataburger gift card right here. That's crazy. So, like I said, for as much as I know that you all don't want Kenyon Green back, let's not act like he doesn't have some positives to being in that rotation. Let me go and read some of these before we continue going. All right, because I said I was going to come back. Uh, where are we at? Marcus says Kenyon can go back to the bench. Duke says keep Green in storage. Green is a mistake coming back, I believe. Okay. We can accidentally lose that storage key too. Green needs to go ahead and work with his daddy. Wow. Hold on. Here's a good question too. What up, Sarge? Do you see a in-game rotation between center and guard position? Do you think that Scruggs' deficiency at center is because CJ isn't prone to second guessing Patterson's call? That's a good question. That is a very, very good question. We'll answer that later on in the week. Um, they don't know. They haven't said if they're going to start Kenyon Green or not. D'Amico just said we'll see. Uh, what Duke said, man, for real. And I hope Bobby can step up, but also I want him and Chris Strauss off the team. Wow. Uh, if Casario is talking about moving Scruggs back to center and Kenyon Green returns, then we may see the original O line project starting O line projected again. And so, and here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna read some more of these comments in just a second, and we'll talk about it. Here's the thing: with Kenyon Green in the lineup and Juice Scruggs going back to center. Hey, I know, I've watched it. I've talked about it right here on the show. We talked about it. What was the show? Remember the show I had when I said, "Hey, D'Amico and Nick knew they had an interior offensive line problem starting in training camp. They watched the entire time. They watched the entire time of that interior offensive line because while your tackles missed a lot of time, while Titus Howard and Laramie Tunsil missed a lot of times, both of them recovering from injury, your interior offensive linemen, they were pretty much together. Shaq Mason, Juice Scruggs, and Kenyon Green. So they knew that they were going to have that type of issue as well. And so when you look at it, it's something that's a problem that should have been fixed. It's too late to try to fix it now, but you know, so Sarge, make sure you do this the PC way. Make sure you do this the PC way. Okay, I mention this all the time, right? I mention this all the time. I was born in the 70s, right? I was born in the 70s, and I think in coming up in a month, I turned 53 years old. In a month, I turned 53. We talked about this. Hey, I'm gonna put my Cash App up there. I'm expecting gifts. Mhm. I am. I'm expecting gifts. And if you need my Venmo, I can give you my Venmo. I can give you the pigeon I use, and I can send the pigeon to your house, and you can put the cash because SAR still take cash. Like, don't get me wrong. I like to keep my credit, I like to keep my credit, in some good type of standing because I got a wife. But SAR still carry cash. I got cash. Now, if you thinking about trying to rob me, you're gonna be just practicing and you're gonna be mad because you try to rob me and you come away with the $7 or $8 that I had just to get a smoothie, you're gonna be mad. And you can take these credit cards though. Hey, go ahead. You can have these credit cards. That's it. Like you can't, I don't carry like big cash, but SAR still accepts cash. So with that being said, I grew up in the 70s. I'm old. There's things that can't be said now that could be said when I was growing up, right? Like you can't say, like when I was growing up, you couldn't say stop lying if your mom and dad, if any grown up was around, you can't be stop lying. You better say, you better stop telling a story, right? So you could say that now. Now you can say stop lying, right? Kids say stop lying. Hell, I seen kids call their parents by their first name, which would have gotten me knocked in from the 70s back into the 40s. I digress. There's things that couldn't be that was said back then that can't be said now, right? Now they call it Jimmy rigging, right? Now they call it Jimmy rigging. When something breaks and you fix it just well enough for it to work again, right? Now, when I was growing up, we called it N-word rigging. Hey man, bro, man, I ain't gonna even lie, man. My sink has been tripping. You call your uncle up, your uncle come over there and he N-word fix it. They call it Jimmy rigging now. He would come Jimmy rig it, and then it'll work for a certain amount of time until it breaks to the point where you have to get a plumber. But that could be anywhere from 5 days to 3 years. Your uncle could come over and Jimmy rig it, to the point where you can get by. Your car tripping? Oh, don't worry about it. Call your uncle up. Your uncle finna come over there because he a shade tree mechanic. And this is at a time before cars had the computer systems that they have in them today. Back then, your uncle could come over and drop your whole transmission. And all you got to do is give him $50, 2 packs of cigarettes, and 2 packs of beer. Oh, and feed him. You got to feed him, right? You got to feed him. Your uncle finna get up under there with a cigarette, a lit cigarette, working on your engine. Drop your transmission, Jimmy rig that joker, put it right back up, and it'll keep going. Oh my goodness. I've seen so many things Jimmy rigged in my day. Hell, I think I will Jimmy rig some stuff right now in my house before we call me. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me see if I can do some some alterations to it before we actually gotta pay for the whole thing. Some of you all know what I mean. Some of you all grew up like that. Some way, listen, you know what Jimmy rigging is? Jimmy rigging, when you couldn't really afford cable, and then you learn that your neighbors had cable, and you found a way to splice the line. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like y'all remember that? Some of y'all don't remember that. Okay, let me see if you remember this. You know what Jimmy rigging is today? Not being able to afford a Netflix account, and everybody else got the passcode, got the password. Hey man, we're gonna do something till we're able to afford it and make it right. I as I digress, I think that the Houston Texans can Jimmy rig their line, their offensive line. I think that they can Jimmy rig their offensive line to get them through this season. And then they're going to have to fix it in the offseason. They may be fixing it through free agency, they may be fixing it through the draft, but they're going to have to find a way to Jimmy rig that offensive line until the end of the season. I haven't even gotten down to the comments yet. I'm gonna scroll to the bottom of the comments and see where we are. Sheesh. Uh, hold on. Y'all are crazy. Hold on. Let me start here. Uh, Sarge, if he needs to put that weight on, that's cool. Good to hear you talk about your locker room convos with Kenyon. Yeah, I have some good convos. Some good convos with this. So Green come back and get hurt again. I don't think so. I think him not having the weight on him, like I said, that could cause some things to the whole O line. Is like cold Popeye biscuits. Damn, Duke. That's that's wrong. Because yeah, it's true. His run blocking is all right. People won't care about Juice Scruggs' run blocking as we switch back and end up losing a franchise quarterback. You think that it's only because without Kenyon, they were still giving up a lot of sacks. It wasn't just Kenyon giving up the sacks. Hmm. Hey, like I said, that may be where it has to be. By the way, I really miss Whataburger and saltgrass. Hey, me too. I love saltgrass. Let me see. Anti green. This O line proved. Yeah. Uh, Donovan. Hey, thanks for joining the show. A lot of it is CJ getting rid of that ball and receivers winning their routes early. Hey, that has a lot to do with it as well. Uh, so I still take cash. I do. No, I didn't. Uh, uh, Side note, y'all know how we do it here. I choked yesterday and laughed when AD said Menzel was better than Vince. Those are Bluetooth. That's crack rocks. And AD is on it. AD, where you at? Jimmy rigging. Yeah, I understand. I called it N-word rigging too. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Texans Tangents. This is what Jimmy rigging, N-word rigging. Now, I don't need to put the quotes about N-word. Jimmy rigging, N-word, fixing it with what you got. Exactly. Exactly. Fixing it with what you got. That's the only thing that Houston Texans can do right now is try to fix the offensive line problems with what they got. That's all they can do at this point of the season. What are we in week 15? 15, 16, 17, 18. We're in week 15. Ain't nobody coming to save you. They can't go get nobody. Everything, trade deadline is passed. They can't get anybody. They just got to try to fix it with what they got. Brandon says, do we think Kenyon has cleaned up his pass protection in a couple of weeks he's been gone? Can we afford to lose a franchise quarterback if he hasn't? Let him sit till next year. But isn't CJ still getting sacked, though? Like, I understand what you're saying. I understand. Kenyon Green has not been good in pass protection. But, has he been the only one? Has he been the only one? That's all I'm saying. Like, you can't blame all the sacks on him. Duke, I see what you said, but I ain't gonna put it up there for all intents purposes. Oh my God. Oh man. We used to joke about using too much Mondo and duct tape back when I worked on the flight line. Hey, exactly. Tony says running the ball is essential to winning playoff games for the most teams, even in this pass happy league. It may not be the popular opinion, popular thing have Green playing, but it may be the best option. That's all I'm saying, Tony. That's all I'm saying as well. It may not be the popular opinion. And his pass coverage, I don't know. I can't talk to him until he's activated. He's just designated to return. We can't have full conversations on the record with him until he comes off. And I'm going to ask him, I'm going to be one of the ones to ask him, what did you learn from your time away from the game watching this time around? Going back and having something on tape to watch in this scheme and watch where you could have been better and how does that help you improve? That's all I'm saying too, Tony. Personally, Tay said Birds don't have any faith in the line with Scruggs and Green. Before he got hurt, his play wasn't good. Seemed like they oh man. Right. We can't use mama jokes no more either. Jimmy, hey, look. Jimmy Rig is a great as long as they pretend it's fixed. Oh man. So Patterson is better than Juice. Do you think Juice will stay a backup? No. No, I don't. I think that if they insert Kenyon Green back into the lineup, Juice will go back to center and Patterson. But sideline Sarah, that's a good question. And let me say this. Now you got me thinking. Now you got the wheels turning. Because for those of you all who do watch the Houston Texans on a consistent basis, for those of you all who have watched multiple games this season, it looks like Patterson is more comfortable in calling out pass protections and getting the line where they need to be than Juice. Now, Juice could have learned that being on the side of Patterson. That's something he could have picked up. But it just looks like the protections are called out better. Now, it doesn't all they don't always execute what they call out, but it just looks as if he's better. So I don't know. That is a good question. That is a good question. And one, Sarah, if you remind me of this on Wednesday show, you remind me of this on Wednesday show. We get a chance to get back into the locker room. We're going to also talk to D'Amico Ryans. I'm going to see if I can't get you this answer. I'm going to because this is a great. This is you know what I'm not going to even let me write this down. Does Juice go to the bench if Green starts? I wrote that down so I can look at it too tomorrow. So I can look at it on Wednesday, excuse me, and have that. But remind me of that because that's a very, very, very good question. And I wrote it down because I don't want to be. Yeah. Look. Side note. You ever seen these people who'll be like, you tell them something, be like, yeah, I'm gonna pray for you, and then they leave, and you be like, well, pray for who? Pray for the dude you just met in the Walmart? Like, no. When I say I'm gonna pray for somebody, I'll be like, if somebody tell me, yeah, man, my father's in the hospital right now. What's his name? Oh, William. All right, I'm gonna pray for William. William in the hospital. You ain't gotta tell me last name. Just what's his name? Because I need to send it up a personal prayer. I need to send up a personal prayer for William, not the dude daddy who I met in Kroger. So that's why I'm writing this down because I don't want to say, hey, Sarah, I'm going to ask the question tomorrow. Then I never write the question down or, I never write the question down. This is going to help me. Like I said, y'all know I write everything down. All right, let me get, uh, it's still called ninja rigging. This is my first time ever hearing of Jimmy rigging. Hey, Marcus, they call it Jimmy rigging. Because politically correct, you have to say that the offensive line's performance should have improved this year. Last year, the offensive line was understaffed. This year lineup was intended to be an upgrade. Hey, y'all think if they would have kept George Fant and made him the right tackle and moved Titus to left guard, even though Titus is a tackle, hands down, Titus is a tackle, but he can play guard. He can't. If you said Titus, we're going to need to make you the full-time left guard, kind of like what they did with Jalen Petrie, right? Yes, Jalen Petrie plays safety, but he also can play the nickel corner position, and we've seen that. And they switched his position, and that's what he's able to do. So we know that Titus may not be the best guard. Tackle is his natural position, but he can play the position. And if you give him time to play there, having him on side of Laramie, you could have kept George Fant. No, I'm just asking. No, I'm just asking. Marcus, why? You were doing so well today. You was talking about feeding the homeless. You were doing so well, even though you mad because I got on this blue. You was doing so good. And this what you gonna come up with? Manziel was definitely better than Vince Young. You drinking again? I can get you some help. Just saying. Man, I'm still waiting on CJ to get back on the field. We've been getting that Family Dollar CJ. We've been seeing a net, maybe not allowed. Yep. Y'all look who showed up. I guess better late than never. Hey, I need you to be on Texas A&M time, not on Prairie View A&M time. I need you to show up to the show when we start the show. If they like, I can give you a warning. I tagged Corey, so you got a warning. I'm here to disrupt the chat. What's up, Mr. Blue Chew? Glad you can make it. Glad you can make it. Yes. Good morning, AD. Texas still up about 3 sacks a game without Green. Jets, Bears, and Packers were bad. So was Lions and Titans. Keen has a bad habit of helping Tunsil side instead of leaving him on the island. I think helping Fisher all off season might. I'm just gonna let that marinate. Oh, make sure y'all drink more water. I'm just gonna let this marinate because you know, I think I heard somebody make this point, Big Sarge. I think somebody that I know may have made this point. Sarge, I just can't. Where have I heard this before? Sarge. Oh, great minds think alike, Brandon. Shaq gets the boot. The previous 4 games before Green got hurt, CJ was sacked 16 times. In the 4 games he's been out, CJ's been sacked 11 times. Still a lot, but definitely a slight improvement. So it's like saying I had $1.50. Now I got $1.25. I don't have $1.50 anymore. I only got $1.25. So semantically speaking, I lost money. I lost a quarter. Semantically speaking, I lost money, but I still got $1.25. Because like if you'd have said, if it went from like 16 to like 8.5, 16 to 9, I'd even said that. But 16 to 11. And how much in this 16 and how much in this 11 is also CJ's fault? Because CJ has something to do with some of those sacks as well. Juice is probably going. Patterson is locked in. Yeah. Okay. The offensive line has not looked any better without Kenyon Green. That's all I'm saying. There's been an improvement, but that also has a lot to do with Jared Patterson. You don't have any days in your circus, Marcus. Titus may have been an upgrade over this year's Shaq. Yeah, that's true. Let me see what else we got here. Exactly. Exactly. Uh what word? Spell what word? One example is the Bears game. Kenyon slid over to help Tunsil on a double team and let a defensive tackle run through the middle. And we saw a defensive tackle go 1-versus-1 on a halfback, blow him up, and then head for CJ. Yeah. So, like I said, I believe that the Texans getting Harris and Green back is a good thing. I believe that getting both of them back is a good thing. Some will say having only Harris back is a good thing. Some people say not having if I type it, I'm doing your job. I don't even know what you're talking about, AD. Listen, AD. Side note, y'all. I know I've done a lot of side note today. AD, listen. You came in late, which means you probably ran out of your blue chew, and then you had to get some generic brand. I don't know what you probably got, like an orange chew or something, like a turquoise chew. So that may have made you a little bit late to the show. See what's I don't even know what that means, AD. I don't understand. Boy on that dot. Hey, I think AD, what have you taken today? Hey, look, I'm gonna call you by your government in a minute, and you try to come in here and disrupt things. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you by your government name in a minute. AD. So like I said, some people are happy that he's back. Some people aren't. Some people are happy that Christian Harris is back, and some people don't like the fact that Kenyon Green is back. Either way, the Texans need to find a way to get through these next 4 games, get themselves on track going into the playoffs. The bye week coming so late may have been a blessing. Some people will look at it as a curse. It may have been a blessing. They may needed this to reset themselves this late in the season going into the playoffs. They can make a playoff run. We've seen plenty of times where a team has made it into the playoffs. And I know that the Texans won't make it in as a wild card, but they will play a wild card playoff game. But you look at them, you look at these teams that made it in as a wild card, and then they go on to win the Super Bowl because they got hot late in the season and they got healthy at the end of the season. And I think that if the Houston Texans can stay healthy and find a way to figure it out, hopefully during the bye week, Bobby Slowick also got a reset. Maybe he needed time to reset too. Sometimes some of these players and coaches need a way to just take a step back. Um, wow. Wow, AD. Sometimes these coaches may need to take a step back, just like the players do. A lot of people look at the bye week and say, um, a lot of people look at the bye week and say, well, this is great for the players to be able to get a rest, but the coaches need rest too. The coaches have to come in and they have to reset themselves as well. And so when they're able to do that, sometimes they're able to look at, because when you're going from week to week, right? It's you go back and you're watching the film from the previous game, all the while trying to prepare for the next game. And so those, run into each other, and you're like, okay, we got to try to improve this, but I'm watching this, and sometimes it can be a lot, especially as you go on. And so when you get that bye week, you're able to take that step back and reset and say, okay, let me go back and I remember I still got my notes on where there are some things that I want to improve. So let me go back and look at week 3 and see if we were still doing the same things in week 8 and why we were doing the same things in week 8. What can I do now heading into the rest of the season, starting from week 15 to week 18 to improve that? Because the problem that happened in week 3 should not have still been happening in week 8. We kind of cleaned it up in week 12, but we definitely got to get it together by week 15. Move into that mindset, because you're getting ready to go into a one and done season. That playoffs is one and done. You don't have another week to prepare for the next game. You have to go into it with the mindset of, we're going to prepare for this game and this game only, but we have to have everything together. And I don't believe that the Houston Texans have to be perfect. I don't believe they have to be perfect. I just do believe that they have to be good enough to get through some of these games. AD and I talked about it on yesterday. I honestly and truly believe that the AFC is wide open. I think that anybody can win the AFC. And when you look at the Houston Texans, you say, why not us? If you're the Houston Texans, if you're Houston Texan fans, you can look at it and say, why not us? Why not? Why not us? And so we'll jump into on Wednesday show, we'll jump into it a little bit more about the Miami Dolphins game coming up. I'll give you some of my keys to victory. Um and we'll jump into just what's going to happen, what's going to happen and what will happen with the Houston Texans moving forward without Azeez Al-Shaair. How is that going to affect how will that not having him? We'll dive in a little bit deeper into that, because so when we got a chance to get into the locker room on Monday after the bye week, let me say this, and then we're going to end the show. There's still a lot of players in that locker room that are not happy that Aziz was suspended for the amount of time that he was suspended. There are a lot of Texans players who are not happy that they said, okay, suspend him one game, maybe even two, but 3 games, 3 games is a lot. And then you're talking about players who are, of course, defending their teammates, but they're also looking at other things that's happening around the league and some of these other things that go on. And they was like, well, that player just got a fine. That player just got fined. Nothing happened to that player. He just got fined. And so there's a lot of players that are missing Aziz in that locker room. There's a lot of players who are missing his presence just being in that locker room. I'll get a chance on Wednesday to have a one-on-one with linebacker Henry Toa, and I will bring you all that interview here when I talk to him. I'll make sure that we get a chance to listen to it here. That's the one thing that I am going to do. Now on Wednesday's show, we're also hopefully we'll get a chance to speak with Kelly Eco, um, reporter for the Athletic New York Times, who covers the Houston Rockets, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the San Antonio Spurs, to talk about the Rockets going up against the Golden State Warriors. That's what I got to get ready for practice. Going up against the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday. Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second. Y'all give me 1 second. See if he can answer. Okay, he didn't answer. I'll call him back. I was calling Kelly so he can make y'all the promise. All right, let me get into this. Let me get into these, and then these comments sound like bad sauce, not Bluetooth for 80. Exactly. So I'm really curious to see if they're going to use Andrew Beck in the next 4 weeks. I like that. I like that. If Tanking else will get a few plays in the package specifically for him, it may help. Not my take, but I agree with it. Hey, me too, Joseph. I agree with that too. I agree with that. Let me see what Sarah says. Why do I feel like Mixon would know who should be in the starting O line because he watches their movements every snap he runs the ball? He's the glue. We're going to talk to Joe Mixon. Sarah, I'm going to see if I can ask him something similar to that to the side, so it'll just be exclusive for Sports Talk with Big Sarge and the supporters of Sports Talk with Big Sarge. Bobby doesn't believe in adjustments, so he was just at home and playing PFF. Wow. Let me see. I agree that coaches need a reset. D'Amico sounded like he just got something at the beginning of the press conference. Oh my God. Hold on. I just put all that together. Hey, hit up AD for some Bluetooth. Oh man. What you're talking about, Sarge, regarding Bobby makes sense. Seems he needs more time to analyze things before he makes a change anyway. Yep. Uh, uh, okay. Uh, huh. Brandon, that's hilarious. Ask Amy Adams on. Yep. All right, let me see if I can get that. Y'all wondering why I'm doing this, right? Y'all wondering why I'm doing this. Y'all wondering why I'm taking this break. Hold on 1 second, y'all. My daughter just asked me, "Do you want to go to a nursing home?" Y'all, give me 1 second. This is why you tune into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. Because ain't no telling what we're gonna do. You too. Merry Christmas. Hey, Brian. Jasmine? Do you want to go to a nursing home? Listen, you are on live. I am doing my show right now. We are live. You are on air. The supporters of the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show could hear you. I said, my daughter just asked me, do I want to go to a nursing home? Is that a real question? Hell no, I don't want to go to no nursing home. I want a hospital bed in the middle of y'all living room. I want my grandbabies to be able to come. As soon as they walk through the door, they can see Pawpaw sitting up with the remote in his hand. They come on over and give me a hug. And then I want to be able to see y'all while y'all eating at the dinner table. No, you don't, and I won't know. Don't put my bed in no back room where y'all don't come visit me. I no. Oh no, oh no. I still be able to walk. I can't believe that. You talking about do I want to be put in a nursing home? No, I want a hospital bed. I want a I want a pimped out wheelchair because because I'm from Houston, I want my wheelchair to have swangers and vogues on it. I want it to be candy red, and I want a stereo system on it. So you get a Bluetooth installed on the back of it. Wow. Yes, with speakers. No, I don't want to go to no. Y'all hear this? Y'all hear she trying to put me in a nursing home. In a no, no. Wow. Jasmine, you can't say that. We on air live. Y'all, please excuse her. Hey, the thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, including his family, are just for entertainment purposes only. I gotta go ahead and put that on it. Jasmine, why would you want to put me in why would you want to put me in a nursing home? I don't even think my grandbabies will allow you to put me in a nursing home. They're gonna be like, nope, Pawpaw gonna stay with us. We gotta do something. Hey, we gotta do something. You must respond. That's what they say you threaten your parents with. They don't answer your phone calls. Start asking them if they want to go to the home. Check your voicemail. I left your voicemail yesterday. Okay. Hey, look, and Jasmine, look, before I let you go, you can't put me in a nursing home. How Zia gonna get her Amazon stuff? You know I'm gonna be in the hospital bed. She gonna be tricking me. Pawpaw, can you just put your finger right here so she can open up my look? No, not my finger. Pawpaw, open your eyes so she can get in my phone. So she can get in my phone, Jasmine, and make her own Amazon order. I'm looking like, hey, why money keep coming out of my bank account like that? What is going on? Yeah. Exactly. And then be like, Papa, I don't even know where she learned that from. I know where she learned it from. Jasmine, I'll call you when I'm on my way over to Rockets practice. All right. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. Hey, that's how it happens, y'all. That's how it happens. Hey, look, hold on 1 second. Uh, right. Asking that question already. Asking that question already. Like, damn, you want to put me in a nursing home? Wow. She tired of you, so she said you gotta go. No, she love me. We go through that one right there. So for those of y'all don't know, that's my late wife's oldest daughter, and we bump heads a lot. Because I pretty much raised her, so she is like me. So we bump heads a lot, and it's all in love. But she normally wins because she got my grandbabies. She got two of my grandbabies. She got my oldest, the one that I like, the one that's like is mine. It's hers, but it's mine. Like Doodle, the oldest. She going on 11. Like Doodle, she know. She the one I told y'all. Some of y'all don't want to admit it. Y'all got favorite kids and you got favorite grandkids if you got them. Doodle's my favorite. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. She know better. After all I done, exactly. Nursing home. I hope she or the nursing home full of us Gen X's would be like exactly. They say you can have the living room. They just gonna move and have you looking like Will Smith on the last episode of Fresh Prince. I'm going with him. I'm going with him. Oh man. Sarge about to cut off all this wheeling test. Yeah, and just give it all, leave it all to my babies. All right. You've been tuning into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you go back and check out Monday's edition of a Sports Talk with Big Sarge, because me and AD was acting up. And I can't wait to have AD on that Buzzed and Petty podcast on that Patreon. I already know. Look, he has to be reserved when he's under that H-Town Rundown umbrella. But when he ain't under that umbrella, I'll make it rain. I'll make it rain. Y'all don't remember that song? Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. Follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because, we do everything for the gram. And go and check out the Locked On Texans podcast Tuesday edition. And make sure you subscribe to the Locked On Texans podcast and to the Locked On Texans YouTube page on Wednesday. On Wednesday's episode of of Locked On Texans podcast. I will have Omar Kelly, who covers the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to get a chance to talk to him with the Houston Texans having this matchup against with the soda on the side. We're gonna have we're gonna be able to talk with him and pick his brain about what they're saying down in Miami about the matchup against the Houston Texans, and then I'll get a chance to talk to him also about going up with the Texans playing against Tua and that track team that they have down there. Thank you all for joining the show. AD, I'm gonna need you to go to HEB or Kroger or Aldo or Aldi or whatever little bootleg man you go to and get your Bluetooth, because you can't keep using these. AD, you can't keep using this generic brand. Hold on. Exactly. Big Sarge, I'm out.
Hard work. Hard work. Hard work.